The world is certainly not lacking in amazing Draven players. From people like Vincent Draven in China, who managed 90 kills in a single game, Tyler One in North America, who is the epitome of Draven aggression.
Let's go!
Quickly.
Jack Spectra, a Challenger EU West player who makes outplays look easy on Draven. And we can't forget about Brazil's BRTT, who even reps the glorious Executioner's axes on his arms. Draven is a powerhouse of an AD carry, focusing on hard-hitting auto attacks and all-out damage. It takes a ton of skill to focus on not only killing your opponents, but positioning yourself properly to constantly catch your spinning axes. In this video, we're going to be focusing on this player, a Korean Grandmaster player who has an 83% win rate on Draven over 57 games and is considered to be the best Draven in the world. I'm happy to announce that this video is sponsored by FaceCheck, a new app that is available on Overwolf. If you want to improve your play to be more like the people featured in this video, then you're going to need the right tools. FaceCheck is a great new app that takes away the need to Alt-Tab out of your game to get information. As soon as you lock in your champion, FaceCheck provides you with recommended builds, ability orders, recommended summoner spells, and even tips and tricks on how to play your champion better. In the game, you can bring up a menu that allows you to see your opponent's rankings, runes, and what they normally build on their champion so you can be prepared throughout the game. FaceCheck also has post-game features where you can analyze your gameplay to find out where you went wrong and what you can do to improve your overall gameplay. There's no reason not to improve this season, so download the FaceCheck app and go into each game with the most information possible. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Twigger, that of course is Lola, and we are back with another rendition of our #1 player in the World Series, and this time we are focused on this player who is a Korean Grandmaster tier player and is considered the #1 Draven player in the world. Now, there are a lot of phenomenal Draven players, people like Tyler One in NA and Vincent Draven in China, and also who plays on the Korean server, but this guy brings it to an entirely different level, and I don't think this is his main account, because to be honest, this guy has only played in Season 8, I think it's Season 8 right now, and he's dominated Season 8. He has nothing in Season 7 or Season 6, but he's been bringing 57 games played on Draven with an 83% win rating, with absolute crazy stats, 7.2 kills to 2.5 deaths and 5.9 assists every single game. So that's his average on this champion Draven. And of course, it seems as though if you're a hardcore Draven player, you're playing the Gladiator Draven skin, which I always find really interesting. But this guy also, one of the things that I really like about looking at these stats and things from League of Graphs is that he actually averages 205.3 CS creep score. That's 8.4 CS per minute. And we tend to look at the perfect CS score is getting 10 CS per minute. So this guy is so close to perfect CS in almost all of his games. It's an absolute crazy number. So it'll be really interesting to see if his Draven in this game can actually stand up to that average CS of about 10 per minute. But in terms of the runes that this guy is running, he is of course going in the precision tree, Press the Attack, Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. And then in the sorcery tree, he's gone for Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. With the additional runes, he's gone for Attack Speed, Adaptive Force, and that little bit of additional armor. The armor is actually surprising to me because when you look at the lane that he's in, he's actually with the Thresh, but he's going up against a Zyra and a Kaisa. So kind of a lot of magic damage coming in there, so I'm surprised he didn't go for that additional magic damage. But in terms of who we've got in this game, so far we've got a Hecarim up top facing a Gangplank. We've got an Urgot in the jungle versus an Evelynn. In the mid lane, we've got Lissandra versus their Ryze. And then in the bot lane, we've of course got the Draven Thresh versus Zyra and Kaisa. So if you haven't watched one of these videos before, I am going to kind of do a full commentary on the entire game, but we are going to do our best to just focus on this Draven to try to see exactly what makes him so much better than other people's Dravens and why is he considered the #1 Draven player in the world. This is a Korean Grandmaster flex queue game, so these guys are going to be trying a little bit harder, which is fantastic. I always like seeing better shot calls and a little bit more additional gameplay, but we are going to have the first little engagement here. The flash coming out of the Zyra immediately after the Thresh went in with, of course, force that flay and then trying to land the hook, but unfortunately the hook did miss because the Zyra flashed. But whenever you get a flash by just using a hook, it's always a worthwhile trade. Just gonna look up at the top lane here though, because it looks like the Gangplank is gonna have the first little gank of this game. Gonna put down the barrel, is gonna get slowed, and then also the exhaust coming down from the Hecarim. A lot of damage is gonna come down. The W coming down from the Urgot is gonna lock the guy down, and it looks like, is it gonna be enough with the shotgun knees? It will finally be enough, but it looks like, no! The Tribe is gonna come out, and it's not gonna be enough to kill him, but Evelyn is here to clean this one up. Using that E is gonna get the kill, and a double kill going over to Evelyn. Fantastic stuff, but another fight going down in the bot lane. Thresh is gonna have that ignite, and he's gonna get the kill onto the Zyra. I believe using that ignite to secure the kill on that one. The Zyra also used her ignite, and the Kai'Sa used her heal to try to keep her support alive, but it was not enough. So that is gonna be the first few kills of this game. 3-1 currently in favor of the red side. Draven only picking up an assist on this one. So one thing that we do have to kind of talk about here, and I'd like to just make mention of what I like to call the performance summary, which is also available on League of Graphs. When you look at this guy's stats in comparison to other Grandmaster Dravens or even Master Tier Dravens, he's got way better stats than they do. His gold per minute is higher, sitting at 520. His creeps per minute is higher than most Dravens at 8.4. His kill partation is higher. His kill and assist per minute is higher. His deaths are way lower than most Draven players, and his damage delta is basically the same as most, and his damage taken is way less. So the thing, when you're looking at a player like this, especially when you're looking at Draven, who's a fairly immobile, squishy target, and he's kind of predictable because he is going to go towards his axis, so he kind of gives you that information of where you want to shoot your skill shots. But the fact that this guy has only an average of 2.5 deaths in 57 games means that his positioning is phenomenal on this champion. He knows exactly where to be, he knows how to avoid damage, he avoids CC and poke, and he just makes it work while still providing the same amount of damage that really aggressive Dravens tend to throw out. So very, very exciting thing to see, and we've already saw a lot of excitement here. But the one thing that we can comment on, for those of you who don't know Draven, haven't played Draven, maybe want to pick him up, every time that he gets a CS or he catches one of his axes, he gets a point of adoration, which is right down here. The League of Draven. So every time you get an adoration stack, when you end up cashing that in, when you get a kill, and you have to get the last hit on that kill, you get a huge chunk of gold coming your way. But looks like we have another gank going up on this top lane. They're just not going to leave this Gangplank alone, but Evelyn is now coming up as well. The Hecarim is incredibly low. The Charm is not going to go onto the Urgot. They're just going to go for the Hecarim instead. They are going to get the kill on that one. Gangplank is now fighting this Urgot. There's nothing going down in the bot lane, so we don't have to worry about the Draven, but the oranges are going to be eaten by the Gangplank. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? Not quite yet. No, the double trade. The Urgot killing the Gangplank, and the Gangplank killing the Urgot, but here's the fight down in the bot lane now. Draven is going to cash in on those stacks and get a kill onto that Zyra. That Zyra not having a very good time down in this bot lane so far. And that was exactly what we were talking about. Draven now cashing in on those stacks. Gonna have a huge chunk of gold going back to the base. And it looks like, wow, the flay coming right out after the Lantern. Draven is gonna get that E onto the Kai'Sa, gonna displace her a little bit. The flash coming out. Unfortunately, that flash auto attack was not enough to secure the kill onto the Kai'Sa. That's so unfortunate, but it looks like we do have the Lissandra coming down here to try to get a gank onto this Draven. He's gonna run the other way and try to get away from this Lissandra. Urgot's here as well. Kai'Sa's now coming back in, and she's gonna secure the kill onto the Draven. So it's one of those things, it was a huge collapse, but the great news for that Draven was that he did manage to cash in before he died. He got his stacks onto that Zyra, so the fact that he died isn't really the biggest deal because he did get that huge chunk of gold, and you can already see how much that affects him because at 6.5 minutes, he's coming back with a Vampiric Scepter and a BF Sword, which is just phenomenal. So talking a little bit further into this guy's statistics, 87% team fight participation from this Draven, which is pretty phenomenal. It means that when his team groups up and they all want to fight, he is always there. Not a split pushing Draven, doesn't want to try to duel people. He wants to fight with his team and bring that damage. And he apparently has a 76% dual win rating. So when he's fighting somebody one-on-one, mono-e-mono in the bot lane, he tends to win it 76% of the time. Another great gank up there in the top lane, but Hecarim did manage to get a solo kill onto that Gangplank. So, you know, it's definitely not a free win up in that top lane, which you would have thought after the Gangplank and the Evelyn did such a good job in that early start of things. But our focus is on this bot side. We do look like we have the Rise coming down, just going to actually be clearing out a ward, it seems. The things that we have to note about this game in particular is there is an insane amount of CC and one-shot potential coming out of this blue side. When you've got somebody like a Lissandra against a fairly immobile target like a Draven, landing that ultimate, the Frozen Tomb, and then also landing her W, can just hold that Draven down for so long that there's really no escape. So it'll be really interesting to see if Draven is going to opt to building a Mercurial Scimitar or at least a Quicksilver Sash to try to get away from that CC. But it's also, you've got things like the reworked Urgot. Like, Urgot did get a few buffs that now his ultimate range is absolutely insane. He can keep his W on seemingly constantly. So the range of that ultimate might prove a little bit fatal for that Draven if he manages to get in range and the Draven gets low enough health. So just going to be some curious things to look at when we get into these teammates. But great hook landing from the Thresh. The Flay coming down as well. The Draven is getting the damage down and the Ignite is going. The ultimate coming down is not going to land, but it looks like the Thresh is going to pick up that kill with the Ignite. Great ultimate, but unfortunately the return of that ultimate was not enough to secure the kill. The double root from the Zyra is going to land and the Urgot is now here. Flashing in. Going to knock the Draven, but I don't know if that's exactly the target that he wanted. He's going to go back for that Lantern. The Flay going to come out to try to keep this Urgot away from the Draven as best as possible, but it looks like the Urgot is thirsting for blood. The Flash is going to come out from the Zyra, and then the root is going to land onto the Thresh. The Thresh is going to have an amazing play to stop the Urgot from getting in with his E. Amazing Thresh plays coming out of this player. The sub games Thresh support. The Zyra did use her flash, and Ryze is now using his Realm Warp to try to get in here. Is going to flash and get that W onto the Zyra. Thresh is going to try to land for a hook. Not going to hit it. The Urgot was just barely out of range of that one, but once again, a great little bit of communication with the Ryze roaming down there to get a secured kill onto that Zyra. Now we do have the Evelynn here. Evelynn is level 7, so it means that she is currently invisible to these players, so she can just stand here willy-nilly. But there we go. The charm is going to be up. Is she going to land it? There's the charm going in onto the Kai'Sa. She does have her ultimate as well. No, she does not actually have her ultimate. I was talking about the Evelynn there. She didn't have her ultimate to get that execute, but fortunately enough, she didn't even need it. So already at 9.5 minutes into this game, we're seeing an 11-4 kill score in favor of this red side, 18.9k to 13.7k. And right now, Evelynn is just being the most annoying champion you can see, just camping this bot lane. Don't know if she's actually gonna have enough here. The ultimate is coming up in just a few seconds. Evelynn might very well just wait to try to make this one happen. She could very well flash under the turret and use that ultimate to escape the turret aggro. There's the charm, so trying to get those plants up. Gonna flash, is gonna miss the charm though, but is gonna be able to land it eventually and gonna use that ultimate to get out. Just a perfect little execution there. Gangplank is gonna get ignited by that Hecarim, and it looks like, man, the Urgot ultimate did come out. Do you see the range of that thing? Unfortunately, not gonna pick up the Gangplank, but Evelynn now in a little bit of trouble as the Lissandra roams down and gets the shutdown. Huge amounts of gold going to that Evelynn. Now we have the Ryze in a sticky situation. Kai'Sa is gonna come in. Draven ultimate is gonna miss everything, and the shutdown is gonna go to the Kai'Sa. So that is a big swing in terms of gold. It doesn't mean that the enemy team is out of the woods yet. Still 20k to 16.3k, but those are the types of kills and shutdowns that you need. Evelynn currently already 7-1, but a big shutdown going to Lissandra is not what you wanted to see. But Draven is now here just waiting in the brush. He does have this pink ward, so they do not know that he is there. The E coming out to get that displacement, catching those axes, using that W to make sure that he can get some movement speed back. Every time that he catches his axe, it resets his W, which means he gets additional movement speed to chase down his targets. But you're already seeing he's got a Bloodthirster completed as his first item, which is a fairly standard Draven item, I would say, to complete first. Gives you that extra little bit of healing. Makes it, like, Draven is one of those champions that stacks so well with just sheer flat-out AD. Not really needing the crit all that much at the beginning of the games like most champions do, because his axes do so much AD and so much, like, just sheer raw damage. The Bloodthirster is huge because it gives him that shield, gives him the raw AD, but then also gives him that extra health, lifesteal, so that way if he does get into a duel, it's really not that big of a deal, because even somebody with crit probably is not going to be able to get through the lifesteal that the Draven's pushing out. But he is kind of freezing the lane right here, and the great part about having a Bloodthirster first is that he can freeze the lane. As you're seeing, he's not taking any damage from these minions because he's got that Bloodthirster shield and the lifesteal when he does take a little bit of damage, so none of this really matters to him. But we were talking about CS previously, and I feel like it would be an injustice if we didn't talk about the fact that he just hit 100 CS after this one, of course. Boom! 100 CS in 11.5 minutes. So definitely not a bad CS score currently for this Draven, but everybody seems to just kind of be leaving this Draven alone right now, which I think is a scary thing. Right now, the blue side is coming up to this mid side to just try to stop them from getting a push on. There is an Ocean Dragon available, but I think right now it's not really that big of a deal. The Thresh is going to jump in onto the Zyra. The Zyra was looking for an over-the-wall E, but unfortunately that's not going to land. Kai'Sa is now in the middle of everybody. Thresh is going to go down, and it looks like Urgot currently onto this Evelynn. Evelynn's going to try to turn onto the Kai'Sa, but it's not going to be enough, and that's going to be a double kill for the Kai'Sa and a kill for the Urgot onto the Ryze as well. So some really good kills coming out of this blue side. Now they're just within about a 2,000 gold disadvantage against this red side. So We're definitely seeing them come back. We're seeing a big effort coming out of this blue side, but you can't leave a Draven alone for this long. You do see that this Kai'Sa has a 3-kill lead on this Draven, but a lot of people tend to underestimate the power of CS. I believe it's about 30 CS means a kill, basically. Or it might even be less than that. It's like every 10 CS or like 20 CS or something like that. It's the more CS that you get, it's basically just adding up for kills. So right now, this Draven is 50 CS above this Kai'Sa. So that's already talking huge numbers in terms of gold. He's gone back and he's picked up his attack speed boots, which is a big deal for Draven because he wants to get those axes out as fast as humanly possible. But we do see the Storm Razor coming out of the Kai'Sa, so getting that first major item completed, a little bit behind this Draven, but I really don't think that if this Kai'Sa were to fight the Draven right now, that she would have any luck. We do currently have the top lane going down once again, 2-4 and 2 for this Hecarim, but definitely still trying to hold his own as best as he can. Unfortunately, the Rise did go down to this Urgot as well. The Urgot didn't even have to use his ultimate for that one, and the Lantern was not used by this Thresh, but a lot of damage and a lot of plates going down on this mid turret. We're just going to try to see this Draven now once again going in onto this Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa using her movement speed very, very well, just toggling that E immediately to try to get away from that Draven E. The Draven E, of course, knocks her back and displaces her, giving him time to approach her to get that damage off. But once again, the Kai'Sa pushes up a little bit. They still have this pink warded, so it doesn't even really matter. The Kai'Sa pushes up a little bit. Draven goes in on her. She has to run away, and then Draven just kind of freezes this lane and gets free farm. It's a really interesting style of play that it's like hyper aggro, but then hyper passive right at the same time. It's not, I've seen a lot of Draven players who will just constantly go all in, 100%, pushing, diving under the turret. I find Tyler 1 is kind of like one of those players, using Draven's sheer raw aggression and his skill to just kind of push through people. But this player just seems to be sheer aggression when the people are in lane, but then he kind of wants to sit back and just make sure he gets all the CS and all the axes as possible so he can cash in as much as possible, get those items, and then just dominate people out of outscaling. So really, really interesting play, just a little bit different than what I'm used to seeing from other Dravens. But it looks like now it is currently a 2v1 Draven situation in this bot side, but we do also have another gank going on in that top side. Just going to take a quick look to see what's happening. The flash coming out from the Evelyn to try to get the damage on. A really weird ultimate coming out from Evelyn as well. The Q is going to miss from the Lissandra, so there is not going to be a root. The W coming down is going to be enough to get the Evelyn. Is it going to be enough? Yes, there's the ultimate coming down. Frozen Tomb on the Lissandra herself. It looks like Hecarim is coming back in on this one. The exhaust going down the barrel is going to do a lot of damage to Hecarim, and the oranges are going to be enough to keep him alive for right now, getting the kill onto the Hecarim as well. But it looks like, unfortunately, the Lissandra is going to have enough to kill that Gangplank, but some pretty amazing play coming out from that Gangplank, securing another kill when it looked almost impossible to get anything out of that one. But here comes the Zyra. The flash root is not going to land, and now Thresh is saying something about this one. He's going to go in. Double knockup coming from the Draven, hitting that E on both targets and also getting a huge ultimate down on both of them. That is going to be another kill for the Thresh. I don't think the red team really wanted that. Thresh already has 4 kills, and Draven really wants to stack, because right now I think he's sitting on about 240 stacks of adoration, so he really wants to cash in before he dies. But that was a huge play, and I love seeing things like that where the Zyra flashed in, said, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this kill here, and then Thresh said after the Zyra miss, he's like, okay, now watch what I can do. And he got the double flay, the double ultimate, and then Draven got the double E followed by the double ultimate as well, and they just melted like a hot knife through butter to that Draven and Thresh. So looks like the red side is now going to look for that first dragon of the game, the Ocean Dragon, going over to the red team. 31.9k to 29.1k, 17 to 14 though. So as much as this Draven is doing incredibly well this game, we are seeing that this is a team game, and the Urgot is ahead, the Lissandra is ahead, so yeah, you really have to look at how this whole game is going to play out as a whole, because we were talking about that initially, that if the Lissandra jumps in and gets that Frozen Tomb on the Draven, they might have enough burst damage to just shut out the Draven entirely, because Draven is really looking for getting those auto attacks off to get the lifesteal. That's what keeps him alive, is just auto attacking constantly, getting his W, getting the movement speed, and surviving in that way. So if he gets locked down, he might be in a world of hurt. But it looks like the Zyra is coming up to just support this Draven. Draven did go back and pick up another BF sword, so I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be building there. Could very well be an Infinity Edge and may finally look for that extra little bit of crit. He is now going to try to clear out this ward. He is going to get it. I didn't know if Lissandra was going to jump over there, but it looks like there is going to be a little bit of a collapse here on this bot side. Rise and Evelyn are going to be running away from this one. The Realm Warp is going to go down. Evelyn is going to get to safety through that one, so really just nice. You don't need to use Rise's ultimate as a sheer aggression tool. That was just a really nice, clean way of getting that Evelyn out. But man, one auto attack taking almost like an eighth of Urgot's health just from that one auto attack. So we're seeing some pretty mad damage coming out of this guy, already sitting at 241 AD, which is just nutty. Zyra is going to get tagged up again. Draven is looking for this kill. He wants it. He is going to get it. Cash in 623 gold just from getting that kill, which is just phenomenal. That's a huge chunk of change into Draven's pocket. And I like that everybody on his team seemed to know that he needed to do that since he had so many adoration stacks. They just gave it to him. They just said, listen, buddy, I know you deserve this. And he just cashes in absolutely huge on that one. So that's going to be a huge amount of gold going over to the Draven. I'm not entirely sure what he's going to be turning it into, but it is going to be something spicy. The Thresh is unfortunately going to be missing that hook, and I like how the ping comes out. So it looks like Korean solo queue is the same as American solo queue, where if you miss your hook, you definitely get pinged for it. So nice to see that it's not too different. But we're now back into this mid lane. Unfortunately, the hook misses again. And it looks like the Lissandra was going to try to go in onto that Draven because they did have the Urgot, but once again, perfect lantern play from that Thresh, making sure that the Draven is constantly safe. Man, I can't believe that Urgot W targets pink wards as well. He takes those pink wards down so quickly. He's never going to be in danger of getting caught up by clearing a ward. But Ryze is going to find this Hecarim. The Hecarim changed sides very, very quickly. That was such a weird way to go, and he didn't end up running into the Ryze. Probably to the Hecarim's benefit there that he didn't run straight into that Ryze, but we do still have everybody just kind of sitting in this mid lane. They are going to go for this Gromp, it seems, the Draven and the Thresh. I guess they just want to try to get as much CS as possible. We are seeing, though, Draven right now at 19 minutes is sitting at 186 minions. So damn near that 10 CS per minute mark. So he's really living up to that stat of 8.4 CS per minute, which is just crazy. When you look at his lane counterpart sitting at 100 CS, this guy he's almost got 100 CS more than this Kai'Sa, which is absolutely crazy, especially when you consider how high of an ELO game this is. This is Korean Grandmaster players. So just to have this dominant of a CS performance and just completely outlaning your opponent is pretty damn incredible. So definitely something to learn from here when you're watching this Draven play. But he did go back and he picked up his Infinity Edge, so he is going to be going for that crit. So the thing that we're going to start seeing here is that when you get one auto attack off from this Draven, it is going to chunk your HP like nobody's business. But looks like Shelly has been summoned down in the bot lane, going to target that first turret, and that is going to be the second tier bot lane turret going down. I don't think Shelly's going to do any more than that. The Hecarim is going to clear that one up. But just getting another turret by using the Rift Herald is always worth it. And it also just opens that bot lane up now for any type of split push. You're going to be starting to threaten an inhibitor, so definitely a smart idea to use that one. But Draven does now have that 200 CS marker at 20 minutes, so he is at that 10 CS per minute mark. The flash coming out from that Lissandra, though, going to try to lock down the Draven, but it hasn't been enough. Double ultimate landing on the Lissandra and also the Zyra, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to keep them alive. Draven is going to kill the Zyra, while Gangplank's ultimate is going to secure the kill onto that Lissandra. Unfortunately, that Lissandra really wanted to make a play on that Draven, but she just didn't have the support. The only person that was there with her was that 0 and 8 Zyra, so they just didn't have the damage to take him down, especially through the Bloodthirster shields that Draven has. And already you're seeing the lifesteal coming out from that Bloodthirster's already gotten him back up to basically full HP. But are we going to see the turret dive here? Draven is going to be the focus for this blue side. Urgot is going to go in. The ultimate is not even going to be able to come out, and Evelyn's going to use her ultimate to execute the Kai'Sa. So that is going to be a kill for the Gangplank, kill for the Evelyn, and another turret in favor of this red side. Now just running away with this one, sitting at 22 to 14, 45,000 gold to 35,000 gold, almost bridging that 10,000 gold difference. There is another Ocean Drake currently available, but it's not really the best dragon that you're looking for when you're trying to snowball a game. An Ocean Dragon is great in the early game, but to be honest, 2 Ocean Drakes at 21 minutes into this game, you're really looking for either an Infernal or a Mountain Dragon to start helping you with those overall objectives like Baron, Inhibitor, and Inhibitor turrets. But I think they're not going to complain with getting a free dragon, but as I was saying before, it looks like Draven is going to follow suit and is going to go for that Quicksilver Sash, because especially after you just saw that Lissandra flash in to try to secure the kill on the Draven, if they had a little bit more support there, then he was definitely going to die. So getting that Quicksilver Sash is going to stop that Lissandra from jumping in, getting that ultimate onto the Draven, and then just blowing him up. But he also, interestingly enough, went and picked up a stopwatch. So I'm wondering if he's kind of thinking that even if he gets out of the Lissandra's abilities, there might still be a predicament where he's kind of caught out a little bit. If he has to go more aggressive into their team, he can use that stopwatch to keep himself alive for that little bit longer to get a little bit more damage off. So it's going to be interesting to see where and when he uses that stopwatch. But we are having a little bit of a fight over at that blue side. Blue buff, but it looks like nothing's really going to come for it. Draven is now here, so I don't know if they're going to actually look for a fight. The Thresh is here. Is he going to look for a hook? It doesn't look like anything's going to happen. But it looks like this blue side is a little bit more grouped. Right now, the Gangplank is split pushing, and that's exactly what we were talking about before, is that Gangplank split pushing on the bot now is now threatening an inhibitor and an inhibitor turret. But there we go. The Draven is going to jump in onto the Zyra. The root is going to land. The ultimate coming down. The ultimate is going to be enough, but it looks like there's going to be the use of the stopwatch to try to save himself here. The flash coming out as well is going to get him away. But, oh, man, an amazing Urgot ultimate is actually going to secure the kill onto that Draven, even after an amazing flash over that blue buff wall. But it looks like this is actually going to be blue team's fight to win. Urgot is going to get a kill onto that Evelyn, and the ultimate coming down from the Hecarim is going to be enough to secure the kill onto the Thresh. Kai'Sa going into the backline, getting a kill onto the Rise. It is now only Gangplank against 3 members of this blue side. Is he going to have enough to get away from this one? They don't really want to challenge his damage or run into his barrels, but this Lissandra is thirsting for some blood here. Kai'Sa is at full HP nearly, but they are just going to leave that Gangplank to his own devices and let him run away from that one. So that was a very, very good team fight for that blue side. Draven, I've got to say, had an amazing play there. Got the double ult onto the Zyra, got the kill, and then had a fantastic flash over the blue buff wall, but an amazing Urgot ultimate. I think they did have vision of them here, so they did know where he was, but during all of that chaos, the Urgot still threw out his ultimate, missed everybody else, and secured the kill onto that Draven. So that is the one thing that top tier play just can't stop. You know what? It's one of those ultimates that no matter how good you are, if the other player can land his ultimate, then you're going to die. So unfortunately for that Draven, he did lose quite a few stacks there, but still 4-2-6, sitting with 232 CS. Pretty phenomenal numbers coming out of this guy. And unfortunately, he did also use his stopwatch. It was a great use of the stopwatch, avoiding the Zyra knockup and also a bit of the Lissandra damage, but unfortunately, it was just not enough to secure him that safety that he was looking for. But he does now have a Zeal, so stacking up that crit just a little bit more. Curious to see what else he chooses to build. The Realm Orb is going to go down right onto the Baron pit, and look at how fast these guys chunk this Baron down. The enemy team right now doesn't have any vision of this. The red team does have the Scuttle Crab control, so they have no idea that this is happening. And this is going to be a free Baron for the red side. Absolutely incredible play coming out of that Rise. Realm warping them into the back, so they had absolutely no idea. They didn't even see the approach from that team going into the Baron. So always got to like those little tricks that you see in more high ELO plays. That was just fantastic. Great little play coming out of that red side. But in terms of who we've got to watch out for, we do have some interesting items coming out of people. Gangplank especially going for that Essence Reaver over other standard Gangplank items, and also getting that really early Executioner's Calling. Kind of just some interesting buys. And then also the Adaptive Helm coming out of Hecarim. I guess really worried about that Evelyn and Rise damage, but not too concerned about the Draven damage. Even though he does have Ninja Tabi, that's not going to do much against this Draven, who is absolutely gigantic. He went back, sold his stopwatch. Not sure if he's going to pick up another one. No, he is going to go back and finish off his Phantom Dancer and pick himself up a couple control wards. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the play that you need to watch. The fact that he just bought 2 control wards, even as an ADC, even as a fed ADC, he still goes back, he picks up control wards just to help out his team. That's what I like to see. So in this bot side, you've got 4 control wards total, because in high ELO play, it is all about controlling your enemy team's jungle when you have Baron, getting aggressive wards in there, trying to make sure that you can get picks from this Thresh, and even from this Evelyn. Anywhere that you can try to pick somebody off is fantastic. So Draven is going to just continue to farm. Just speaking of farm, actually, 26 minutes in, 253 minions. So he's so close to that 10 CS per minute mark, but looks like we do now have a fight. Hecarim taking a lot of damage from that Draven ultimate, but it looks like there is going to be a lot of damage going on to the Draven. The Draven is going to use that Quicksilver Sash, but he is actually going to go down. Just locked down for too long from that. Lissandra can only block one of those forms of CC. The Lantern is going to be taken by that Rise, and everybody on this blue side is incredibly low. The Evelyn is looking for blood here. She does have her ultimate and her flash available, so if she manages to flash in and get an ultimate down, she can very well get a kill here. Ultimate is is going to have to be used to escape that Lissandra, though. She got locked down. She was going to probably die. The Kai'Sa is going to be on the chase now. Going to flash into that. Evelynn is going to get a kill. And it looks like the Thresh is going to go down as well. But now here's, once again, just the Rise being alive. Going to try to turn his focus onto the Urgot, but currently not going to be enough. No, he is going to get the kill onto the Urgot, but it looks like the Kai'Sa is going to get a double kill during that fight. And unfortunately, that is an ace with the Baron buff. So it looks like this red side is going to fall victim to just the Lissandra being so impactful in these team fights. And I think that's exactly where this is all coming from. Is the Lissandra is getting these incredible engages on people like the Draven, locking them down. They turn their focus onto the Draven, and then you've got that Lissandra passive, which summons those ice clones, which just do so much damage in a grouped up team fight. So the fact that these guys are fighting in these narrow corridors against a Lissandra is never going to be beneficial for this red team. So in terms of how we progress in this game, the Draven really just, I think, has to be a little bit safer because he can definitely QSS the initial abilities coming out of Lissandra, but the thing is, it doesn't do anything after that. Right, and so if there's additional CC or additional slows and everybody turns their damage onto this Draven, he's not going to have enough to actually escape anything, and he's going to still die. So unfortunately, losing even more stacks there. He did get a great ultimate off in that narrow corridor, but it's just not enough. We are seeing, though, that the Thresh did build the Zeke's Convergence to once again buff his Draven, because every time that now Thresh uses that ultimate, he is going to make basically a cyclone around himself of Frost, which slows and damages people around him. So that really does help the Draven out a lot, because Draven, of course, runs the issue of being kited. And if you just kind of like keep him at bay, he can't get his auto attacks off, which means he can't get his axes, which means he can't get his W reset, which means he can't get that movement speed to catch up to you. So having somebody like a Thresh who can flay people back into you and also slow people with that Zeke's Convergence and your ultimate means that Draven can really just have a field day running up to targets and chasing them down and getting that damage. So right now we're currently sitting at 26 to 23, 59k to 51k, but oh, that Zyra was in the wrong part of town, and this was exactly what I was talking about, getting those control wards in the enemy team jungle to get picks like that. If you're a Zyra right now, she didn't even have time to get her Zhonya's hourglass off. That's all she's sitting on right now, is an hourglass basically, and she just got blown up by the Ryze and Draven. So in terms of late game scaling, having a Ryze and a Draven, definitely some good things, but Urgot, Lissandra, and even Zyra and Kai'Sa do phenomenally in the late game. But unfortunately, the Zyra is so far behind that that innate magic damage that comes out of that champion really isn't happening yet. Like when you start building a Liandry's Torment, maybe even a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, your damage and crowd control in those areas are absolutely gigantic as a Zyra support. It's fairly common to see Zyra's supports topping the damage charts for your team, but unfortunately, the Zyra has been put so far behind because of this Draven and Thresh in the early game that really they just haven't been able to capitalize on that Zyra damage. Kai'Sa, though, has done a great job at getting back into this game, having a rough early game, but now sitting at 8-3 and 4 with 168 CS, but still 287 CS for this Draven, and the Kai'Sa sitting at 168. So this guy, even though he might not have the most impressive kill death assist ratios, this guy doesn't die very frequently, and he has insane creep scores. Like, this is something that you need to learn if you're trying to improve your play, especially on somebody like an AD carry. Focus on getting better at your CS, because it just goes to show, even though Kai'Sa has 8 kills, somebody might look at this and go, oh man, Draven's gonna lose this one, or he lost the lane because 8 versus 4 kills. But when you look at this guy's CS, he is not struggling for gold at all. Already sitting on 3 fully completed items, and he's got the Quicksilver Sash and another Zeal. So already sitting at, how much crit? I can't even see on this one. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't even think I can actually look it up there. Oh yeah, there we go. So we can actually, this is one. 65% crit rating already, and 20% lifesteal from this Draven. Like, just some crazy, crazy stuff, and 353 AD. So it looks like they are going to be posing for this next Baron. This is the second Baron for this team, and unfortunately there is just nobody on this blue side. They are none the wiser that this is happening, and Draven, with his amount of damage, is just going to absolutely melt this thing. The enemy team did manage to get an Infernal Dragon while they got that ace, but an Infernal Dragon doesn't really mean much after you get a Baron. And we're right now 66k to 55k. We did break that flame threshold of 10,000 gold in the lead, but looks like this blue side is looking for that one final fight. The Lissandra is going to try to engage here, but they are going to have to get this Draven down. That is going to be the main target. Urgot is going to get sucked in here by the Thresh Hook. The Death Sentence is going to land, and the Draven ultimate landed a little bit wide, so everybody is going to kind of get away from this one. Ryze has just been split pushing this entire time. It did manage to get a turret down in this bot side as well, and they just haven't really been able to respond to this one. They've had to bring everybody for a team fight, and that was kind of a last-ditch effort for this blue side, trying to get a big engage onto the Draven and onto the enemy team while the Ryze was split pushing, but unfortunately that one did not work out, and now they're just going to rotate back into this mid side, just going where the minions go. They are going to get that second mid turret. Well, the second inhibitor turret, should I say. So now they do have 2 exposed inhibitors, and now they're just doing a 3-and-2 push strat, and they are going to get the first inhibitor. Is everybody going to now rotate up to the second inhibitor in the mid lane? They're just going where the minions are going and utilizing those Baron buffs so damn well, and right now the blue side just has no idea what to do. How do they engage? They're going to need a really big form of engage to try to secure this one. The Hecarim is going to get caught out by this one, but a huge ultimate coming out of the Hecarim is going to do a lot of damage and make sure everybody is feared, but the Zyra is going to go down, followed by the Hecarim. Gangplank is going to get taken down by the Lissandra, and Urgot's going to find a kill onto that Evelynn. There are 3 people still alive on this red side, but unfortunately, there are still 3 people alive on this blue side. The TP is going to come down from this. Lissandra is going to get hooked by the Thresh, but Ryze is still alive. Kai'Sa doing a lot of damage. Ignite is not going to be enough to take down the Thresh, but Ryze is going to fall to that Urgot. Draven is still alive, though. Is he going to see this as an opportunity to shine? But it looks like the team is currently telling him to back off of this one. They do not want him to die. The ultimate is going to come down, do a lot of damage, but it is not going to land the second proc, and Draven is going to use that Baron-empowered recall to get out of this one. I don't believe that the enemy team is going to be able to continue pushing on this one, but the Draven and the Thresh still alive. Crazy fight. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. So right now we're sitting at 29 to 26. Like, the blue side is you gotta give them props. They are holding their own. They are trying to get in there. The Hecarim had an incredible ult right here. He did get caught by that Thresh Hook, which definitely kind of put him a little bit behind there and got a lot of damage, but he did manage to get that ultimate, which meant a fear on every member, it seemed, of that red side. So that gave the enemy team a lot of time to get in there, do their damage, and position themselves accordingly, but once again, you had a TP also coming down from the Lissandra with that follow-up chase, which secured them another kill onto that Ryze. So they are really trying to push through. They are really trying to win this game to the best of their ability. But right now you have, man, the rapid fire cannon has been completed on Draven. So I believe he is now sitting at, what, 75% crit rating on this Draven. So if he hits you with one auto attack, man, you are going to be absolutely chunked. But we're already 34 minutes into this game. Draven's sitting at 329 CS with 150 gold bounty. Who do we have to watch out for here? Like, one of the things that we can certainly point out is that the Evelynn built the Mejai's Soul Stealer, but unfortunately, since she's died so many times now, you saw she was 7-1 at the beginning of this game, but now sitting at 10-6, so definitely had a lot of deaths, and now she has 0 stacks on her Mejai's Soul Stealer, so she's lost a lot of her power. She hasn't lost any execution power, because she's still going to be amazing for that, but we are now seeing this red side grouping up once again, trying to look for this win. Knight's Vow has also been completed on this Thresh, trying to make this Draven as big as humanly possible. The Thresh is actually going to get caught out. Another big Hecarim ultimate and a huge team fight. The Hecarim is going to fall to that Evelynn, and it looks like the Urgot is going to finish off that Thresh. Draven is trying to run for his life here, but the Realm Warg is going to come down. The Lissandra is going to land a nice W onto that Ryze, and that's going to be his death, but Draven is still alive with this Gangplank. Gangplank is, sorry, not going to give you the Gangplank. Draven going to pick up a kill onto that Lissandra, and now it is only the Kai'Sa that is alive, and it looks like the Evelynn trying to flash to make sure that charm landed, but unfortunately it did not land. Gangplank is going to go back to base, but looks like no, he's not going to go back to base. He's actually going to TP down here to get these minions pushing. Draven, Evelynn, and Gangplank now onto these Nexus turrets. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that might be the very end of this game. I don't know if these guys are going to go for an additional kill, but Draven sitting at 344 CS, 5, 3, and 11, playing absolutely incredibly in this game. I don't know if they're going to try to dive this Kai'Sa, but literally one auto attack from this Draven would be enough. He's going to try for it, but no, he's not actually going to go for it. I think they are just going to probably finish this game off. They really want this one, though. No, it looks like Kai'Sa's going to get a kill onto that Gangplank, but it looks like that is where the game is going to end. 33 kills to 29 kills, 35 minutes into this game, 76.9k to 64.3k. Some absolutely phenomenal play coming out of our Draven, definitely showing a different style of Draven play, which goes to show why this player is considered the #1 Draven player in the world. But let's go and check out some of these endgame stats to see just how well he did. In terms of damage, our Draven fell a little bit short due to lack of jungle ganks early and team fights in the bot lane, but still managed to dish out 20,000 damage and 5 kills. Though not surprisingly, our Draven was the top of the CS count with 348 minions and showing the true power of Draven, topping the gold earned charts with almost 19,000 gold earned. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear what champions you'd like to see next in the comment section down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.